You know what? I'm so glad they had the John Henry, aka Steel thing to fall back on because I was getting so tired of this Lex Luthor. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Sibz, West Coast, East Coast siblings, where we break down your favorite movies and TV shows. Man, this Superman and Lois show is really good. Tonight we're talking episode 8. This is going to be a review, reaction, biggest takeaways, all rolled into one. So sit back, relax, and hit the like button, subscribe, of course, click the bell so you don't miss. Let's get into it. So this episode had a lot going on. Things with Superman, things with Jonathan. Jordan was kind of on the back burner there. We had some stuff going on with Sarah and her family, Morgan Edge and all that stuff. Lex Luthor, John Henry Irons, the 7734 hell and back type thing, Kryptonite weapons, a whole bunch of stuff, guys. So we're going to take it piece by piece. Let's start out with Lex Luthor, aka John Henry Irons, aka Steel. So we saw this referenced in even the last episode when he had the steel hammer. For those of you who don't know, John Henry was a character adapted by DC Comics into a superhero, and that's kind of this Lex is an amalgamation of both of those characters. So Lex Luthor from another world, but also John Henry the superhero. So let me rant for a minute. What is this dude's problem? Okay, so this entire episode, he's flipping out about the fact that Superman is going to turn bad. And we've known this for a while. We've known that he was from another world. And in that world, Superman goes crazy. Now, they elaborate on that a little bit more in the previous episode, episode 7, where we actually see Lois die by the hands of Black Suit Superman and all the things that happen in his world. But he can't seem to get it through his head, as smart as he is, that just because something happened on your Earth, the whole premise and idea of a multiverse is that there are variations in every single version of the world. I mean, just like Lois Lane is not your wife in this world, Superman is not necessarily a bad guy. And I know, he's going with the whole, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely type of mentality, that this is going to happen and that Kryptonians are coming. We are seeing that happening. We'll get to Morgan Edge. We'll segue into that from there. But yeah, it was super frustrating to the point of it being a little bit unrealistic that he wasn't able to understand that this Superman had even the smallest chance of not going rogue and not going bad and all these things. Now, to the same extent, Lane, Lois's father, the general, he was developing some kryptonite weapons in order to prepare for exactly that, such a time where you would need to fight a rogue Superman. And it turns out that's going to come in handy, probably as segue. Now we're seeing that Kryptonians are actually possibly inhabiting people. So the whole Morgan Edge thing that we've been following through this entire season has been that the yellow kryptonite has been giving regular folks the powers of Kryptonians, albeit temporarily. At least that's how it was in the comic books. But here we've got new information in this episode that it's possible that their sentience, their consciousness is being transferred into these people, and that these are actual Kryptonians inhabiting regular Earth people. So in that sense, they're basically bringing an army to Earth. Morgan Edge is bringing this army. Now that brings a whole bunch of questions out about who exactly Morgan Edge is and what he knows. He's aware of these other Kryptonians that are out there somewhere waiting to come to Earth, waiting to invade. And this is very similar to Lex's world, or John Henry's world, in which the Kryptonians come and Superman sides with them and they destroy the world, they kill Lois Lane, etc. That was also another thing. Like, he just felt like he had the right to Lois Lane because she was his wife in another world. It just didn't make any sense. Like, you're not in that world. Where's your daughter? Like, all these things should be telling you that this is not the same place. Anyway, I digress. I don't want to go back there. But yeah, so this is a big development for Morgan Edge's character and what he'll actually be doing and what he actually knows right now. The second thing I want to get into is dealing with Jonathan Kent. Now, John gets himself into a little bit of trouble. And this was great acting by Bitsy Tulloch. She did a phenomenal job. I used to watch her back in the show Grimm on NBC. And she was always good there, but she really let loose here. And honestly, I know what they wanted people to see was just this really mean moment. And Lois was lashing out because she had a miscarriage in the past, and she had some emotional trauma that she was carrying because of that. She was lashing out at Jonathan over getting trapped in Lex Luthor's trailer and almost getting killed. But honestly, I enjoyed her lashing out like that. And it was because these boys, it was about time that they had gotten spoken to like that. And I know that we hadn't seen it in a while, but if you guys remember in the earlier episodes, they had like the smartest mouth. They were smart aleck. They were rude, like all these different things. And all that time, Superman and Lois just kind of took it. And they were like, oh, well, what about your feelings and all this stuff? Like, the truth is, in the real world, people don't tolerate disrespect like that. If you spoke that way to your boss, you would be fired. You'd be looking for a new job. So why would you speak that way to your parent? You know what I'm saying? But they just put up with it for so many episodes. But finally, Lois lays down the law. I know Superman, he's kind of in a different situation because he has to hold back so much all the time, because if he even begins to let some anger go, if he yells too loud, he'll bust everybody's eardrums in the room. So maybe he's just being a little extra cautious. But I was very happy to see Lois put down some parental smackdown. I was like, okay, parents, okay, I see you. Anyway, so Jonathan gets trapped in Lex Luthor's trailer, and it recognizes through biosoftware that he is not an authorized user of the trailer, and it goes to kill him. Superman has an awesome moment. Again, I always praise this show for the amazing Superman action that we get. It is unlike any other Superman show that we've had on TV in recent memory, probably honestly since the animated stuff way back when, in the early 2000s and even the late 90s. Just so much action. Certainly in live action, it was great to see Superman in this way. So, Lois, through her miscarriage, she lashes out at Jonathan, but they were in the trailer together, and that was a little bit of inconsistency there, because if the trailer was so dangerous, why do you think that you, made of flesh and bone just like Jonathan is, would have been any more safe if you were both in there? You're assuming that you would be an authorized user, Lois Lane, and, it would have shut down those guns, but there was no guarantee of that. Again, this is a trailer in another world, and therefore, the security protocols may not be the same. So if it was okay for you to both be in there at first, and then he just goes in there by himself, I don't know, you could argue that. But some of the stuff that they discovered inside of the trailer was very interesting, because it was footage about basically what Lex had seen. And through this, Lois discovers Natalie, she and Lex's daughter. And she's in another world, obviously. But this was ultimately what saved Superman's life. Now, this was very reminiscent for me of the BVS infamous scene, the Martha scene, where Batman's about to kill Superman with a kryptonite spear nonetheless, and, they yell out somebody's name, and it changes the person's mind. So it seems like DC is like, yeah, we did it. We're not afraid. And they kind of doubled down on it, kind of replicating that exact scene. She's like, Lois yells at Lex, I know about Natalie, and that was what finally caused Lex to drop the spear. Now, this is another interesting point you make, which I think was the real nail in the coffin for his whole psyche, was that, okay, say this guy is going to go rogue, right? If you kill him while he's still an innocent man, then that makes you a murderer. This is like Minority Report type stuff. Like, he has not committed any crime. He has only ever been a hero. Superman has only ever helped people. And so if you kill him in that, while he's doing that, he'll have died a hero, but it also makes you a killer. Now, here's something that's really interesting. I think that Superman's character has been a little inconsistent with Kryptonite in the past, and it really showed in this episode. For instance, he was like inhaling all this kryptonite gas, like it was overboard, like more so than even in BVS, where it was a little bit of gas and he could like dissipate it or whatever. But in this, it was like an enclosed room. He was breathing it in, and he was still able to fight. Now, sometimes kryptonite makes him fall to his knees, and he can't move at all, period. Like, he's down. And sometimes, but in this, I mean, he was straight fighting like a normal man. It seemed like it only zapped his powers, but other than that, he seemed fine. Even able to get the upper hand on the other Kryptonian and get his gas mask off. So, you have a little bit of inconsistency there. And certainly, if he has that kind of resistance to kryptonite, kryptonite spear through his heart, I mean, it killed the Man of Steel, BVS Superman, right? But it was only temporary, and then he came back. So in this situation, I think it would be very much the same I don't think it would kill him. And I hate that in DC, they always try and drum it up like Kryptonite's going to kill Superman. Very rarely does Kryptonite ever kill Superman. I know in Justice League Doom, Batman had the Kryptonite bullet, but mostly it was because the Kryptonite, once it's removed, Superman's biology returns to its natural state, and with a little bit of solar radiation, he's back to normal. So Kryptonite's always been a funny one, very inconsistent in its application across the DC properties. But overall, this show is by far better than anything on the CW right now. It's better than Supergirl. It is better than The Flash by far. It's right up there with probably the Arrow in its prime. And then Superman's a character I like more anyway. And then with the bigger budget, it's just a better show. But obviously, let me know what you thought of this episode down in the comments below. Love to chat it up with you guys. As always, we did The Flash, Sydney and I, just about an hour ago. So go and check that out if you're a fan of The Flash TV show. Also, guys, leave a like, subscribe, click the bell. You know what to do on YouTube if you want to grow the community. This has been an awesome time. Some of the best years that I've had just chatting it up with you guys and getting excited about fandom. We have got a ton of movies coming up, like a scary amount. The pandemic's over, and for the most part, and you know, movies are just opening up. I went to go see A Quiet Place. I got to do a review on that. I'll probably do that tomorrow. So be sure to stick around for all of that. Click bells, click the bell. What that'll do is it'll give you a notification on your phone when we drop new videos or when we go live and stuff like that, so you can join us for every episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm Chris Grant Jr., and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.